Whoa, buddy. Look at the size of that corn cob. Got that dark yellow. It's starting to dry out pretty good, isn't it? Welcome into our next video about dove habitat management. If you haven't watched the prior videos, go back and watch them. We discussed our sunflower field, we discussed our brown top millet field, and our fake power line. Today, we're looking at our corn. This is just a little prelude up to what can be expected out here. We've got cobs and we've got corn kernels on the ground. The bush hog actually caught this row a little bit. We're in here mowing. It is not dried out enough yet. It's still got some drying to do, but we're gonna have a lot of corn on the ground. Let's go look at it, let's talk about it. This is a 90-day hybrid field corn from Eagle Seed. It was planted at the end of April. I think it was the third week of April we planted this to give the corn time to come to full maturity and begin the drying process. We want our corn dried out by about the second week of August so we can come in here and start bush hogging it and scattering it on the ground for the doves. This plot is solely planted for doves, but also serves as a fantastic deer food plot. So we've got a lot of drying yet to do, but we are certainly in the home stretch here early August. About 2 weeks from now, this corn should be dry enough to come in here and bush hog. It goes without saying that corn is a fantastic dove field. Any great dove hunt you've ever been on seems to involve a cornfield in some capacity. Sunflowers, brown top millet, any type of millet for that matter, and then field corn, especially if it's just been harvested, makes for a dynamite dove field. Admittedly, corn is what I know least about. I know a lot about sunflowers, a lot about different millets, but corn is where I am fairly new. This is only our second year planting corn out here. But as you can see, we've got pretty good production in here. All these plants have at least 1 or 2 good-sized cobs on them. Some are still growing, some are still maturing. Some of them have been stripped to the ground. And you can see here what I was talking about. Even though there's predation on this, there's a lot of corn on the ground. I was running doves out of here, coming down through here mowing. So even though we've got some predation, it's not all bad because it's already getting some corn on the ground to start feeding these doves early August. This corn is a 90-day hybrid, glyphosate-tolerant, Eagle brand field corn. This is the first time I've planted that, and I am very pleased with it. A lot better than the dwarf field corn we bought last year. The dwarf field corn just did not seem to have great germination. Only about half of the seed we planted came up, whereas this Eagle Seed, I think we got over 90% germination, even with the broadcast spreading. Which brings me to how we planted this corn. This is a true broadcast method that is very successful, works very well. We're just not on clean rows out here. We came out here, disked the soil, prepped the soil, spread our fertilizer, came back in here with 20 pounds of seed, bag spread across the surface, then came back in and lightly disked it under to about an inch, inch and a half depth, and then cultipacked the surface. Then we came back behind it and sprayed it with Preemergence to help with grass and broadleaf control. We are into August, and you can tell we got really good weed control. There's some broadleaf starting to creep on, but by and far, we do not have a lot of grass in here. We do not have a lot of weed competition. I use 2 chemicals. I use Dual Magnum and Prowl H2O. That seems to have done a really good job for grass control. We do have a few broadleaves coming in here, the horse nettle and some chickweed, some late onsetting broadleaves here in August, but we've had really good broadleaf control and really good grass control throughout most of the spring and summer. This is a 3/4 acre field, so you might be thinking 20 pounds, that's really high. Well, when you're broadcast spreading, you don't get perfect germination. We have a lot of predation out here, critters digging up the seed. You don't get perfect germination, so I like to plant heavy. I like to go at least twice the seeding limit when I'm coming in here and broadcast spreading. There's just a certain level of inefficiency that you've got to account for. We've got exactly 30 days to the opener, so this is perfect timing to start having some corn starting to fall on the ground. The millet field is starting to drop seed. The sunflower has been dropping seed. Now the cornfield's starting to drop seed. We are exactly 30 days from the opener, so this is perfect timing to start trickling the seed on the ground, start feeding these doves. Traditionally, I like to be the first one to have seed on the ground in my area. That way I can draw the birds in, and then we've got enough seed to hold them through the opener. If you let the farmers cut all the fields first and then you start dropping seed, the birds have already been trained to go elsewhere. So I like to start getting the seed on the ground early August and go ahead and feed them that full month up until the opener. Corn, like sunflowers, can be a little finicky. It's very nitrogen hungry. You also have to do a lot of weed control with herbicides. It's not rocket science to grow it. We've grown it 2 years now successfully, just doing broadcast spreading. But as far as being an easy crop to grow, I wouldn't recommend it. Brown top millet, any of your millets, hands down, are gonna be much easier to plant to attract doves. Sunflowers and corn just take a little bit extra work as far as how you plant it, when you plant it. You gotta account for a lot more drying time, and then the herbicides you use. I think having a variety in any dove field is good. We've got our ½ acre of sunflowers, a little over an acre of millet back here, and then we've got 3/4 acre of corn. All three are different seed types with different type of caloric content. That gives these doves the most variety you can here on this small 4-acre field. Any of these bigger cobs I peel open, it's just really got me excited for the next couple weeks. We're gonna have a lot of corn drying out, and the most fun we're gonna have is coming in here with the bush hog and bush hogging this corn and scattering it everywhere. For dove hunting, it is completely legal to manipulate your crops so we can grow it up, come back through after maturity and bush hog it. That is perfectly legal for dove hunting. Cannot do that for waterfowl, but for doves, perfectly legal to come back through here and bush hog your corn, bush hog your sunflowers and your millet. To feed this corn, I came in here with the same ratio as I did the sunflowers, 100 pounds of nitrogen to the acre, 80 pounds of potassium to the acre to really help feed the corn. I did not come back through here and top spread it later. I did a single application of fertilizer at the time of planting, and it seems to have done pretty well. I'm still on the lookout for an affordable 2-row planter to really get these fields nice and straight and organized here. But for the time being, we are still broadcast spreading for the most part. And as you can see back here, it works. You just have to be intentional about it, but you can have an awesome dove field just using a disc and a broadcast spreader. It has been over 90 days since planting, so I would have expected more of this field to have this browned out look, but I think all the rain we've been getting, we've had 10 inches of rain in the last 2.5 weeks, and I think all that rain is keeping this corn green. So at this point, I actually need the rain to stop so this corn will start drying out for me. I'd really like to see the corn stalks starting to dry out. That way it'll be a lot easier to come through here with the bush hog, cut it all down, and shred it all up. Hope you enjoyed this dove management video about our cornfield. Again, if you haven't gone back and watched the videos of the millet field and the sunflower field, please go back and watch them. A lot of great helpful information there. So I hope you've learned a lot from these videos and you can apply them to your dove field. Cannot thank you all enough for your support of this channel. We've got a lot of subscribers here. You're really hitting the button and I cannot thank you enough. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the button. We've got a lot of dove management content coming and duck season stuff is about to really fire up. So make sure you hit the button. You don't want to miss it. But until the next video, I really appreciate you guys watching. God bless. Take care. I just would really like to see these corn stalks. I would just really like to see the corn start. I'd really like to see the corn stalks starting to dry out.